Go ahead.
Yeah.
Okay, I'd like to welcome everyone to the March 9th, 2021 regularly scheduled Port Clinton City Council meeting. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Jay Belo,
Here.
Pat Hovis,
Here.
Beth Gilman. Here. Roseanne Hickman,
Present.
Lisa Sabodian,
Here.
Margaret Phillips,
Here.
and Jerry Trolley.
Present.
If you're not, if you could mute your microphone, if you're not part of city council, if you'd like to speak, that's fine. You can unmute, but just to keep for the back sound and stuff. Council, you were emailed the February 23rd, 2021 regular meeting minutes. Do I have a motion to approve the minutes?
I'll
Madam
make that
President, I
motion.
move to accept the minutes from the 23rd of February.
Thank you, Ms. Phillips. Second by Mr. Trolley. All in favor, say aye.
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 Thank you. The chair notes that certification has been made regarding compliance with the rules and notifications of this meeting. We have no guest presentation. Do we have any public comment?
I didn't have time to ask anybody, so I don't
Okay.
know. Does anybody that's a guest like to speak?
Okay.
Assuming not.
Okay, thank you. We'll move on to executive officers reports. Council, tonight, we, under correspondence, there are 3 new liquor licenses for Big Boy Adventures LLC at 3 different locations downtown Port Clinton. I have spoke to Chief Hickman. He has no objection to those. So if council would like to take action on those this evening, that would be appropriate. Also, we have 4 new ordinances, ordinance 821, 921, and 1021. They're up for the first reading. That'll be assigned to economic and community development and administration, indicated that they go to 3 full readings, and that's Mr. Belo's committee, and they previously discussed when we extended them last year, so they're assigned them. The other new ordinance is 11-21. And that could also go through readings, and that's assigned to Ms. Phillips Safety Services. Make sure everyone remembers to file your ethics form and that you have to take a public records training once during your term. And also I'd like to send thoughts out and prayers out to the family of Eva Castillo. She was a city employee, and previous to that, she worked for the county. I worked with her there also. She's passed away. And that is all I have this evening. Mayor Snyder.
Thank you, Madam President. And I would also like to echo your remarks on Eva. I've known Eva my entire life. She worked for my dad when he was the county auditor. Great lady, fun personality. You couldn't help but smile when you're around her, especially during a Browns football game. But onto the mayor's report. Mom 2.1. is a go. As many of you know, we had a series of public meetings with our downtown business folks and others that jumped in. The information was received quite nicely. Sponsorships are rolling in. Everything's flowing through the Chamber of Commerce and Main Street. So we're really excited to get that going. Street will be barricaded on or about the 1st of May, and you'll see a lot of neat stuff happening downtown as we move forward. The beach work that I've been promising for a couple of weeks now has some equipment delays. The boring machine that's going to tunnel underneath Perry Street to get the utility service on the north side has some issues. It's a third-party contractor. Their target date right now is the 16th of March to be out to do that work. So hopefully shortly thereafter that we'll get all the beach area cleaned up, get those Jersey barriers out of there, get the soon to be unused cable and all the tubing and get the beach back to where it should. City crews have been out busy. You know, we had cold weather and now we're getting into the warm weather. They've been out busy patching potholes. If you see any potholes out there, please contact City Hall at 419-734-5522 extension 2. That'll get you to Miss Ostheimer and report a pothole, and they'll get it as soon as we can. Along with the warm weather comes growing grass. And with growing grass, there's weed notices and, of course, the ever popular grass holes. Just a reminder, please do not blow grass clippings into the street. They gum up the sewers. And as you all know, we're getting ready to spend a whole bunch of money on our sewer system to try to make it adequate for our needs. Again, with the height of grass, if you see something, contact city. We're also out watching. We'll take care of those through the due process. Monday, the 15th of May is cemetery cleanup. Please have all of your items removed from
15th of April.
the city cemeteries. I'm sorry, is it April? Not
No,
March?
it's March. You said May, sir.
Oh, I'm sorry. April.
Yeah.
March 15th is the cemetery cleanup. All legal items can be placed back at your loved ones' graves on the 20th. Later this week on Friday, bids will open for the Safe Routes to School project on the far west end of town, about noonish. We're looking forward to getting that project underway. March 19th, the Ottawa County Soil and Water Conservation District is holding the annual Ag Breakfast, Ottawa County Ag Breakfast at 8:30 out at the Ottawa National Wildlife Refuge. It's going to be a drive-through, grab your bag breakfast, and they'll give you information on a self-guided tour, driving tour through the National Wildlife Area. If you're interested in attending that, that deadline is also March 15th. Contact Sandy, and Sandy, I'll get you that information. Deadline to register again is the 15th, but the event itself will take place on the 19th at 8:30. Another date to remember is going to be April 24th, which is a Saturday. The Chamber of Commerce and Main Street are organizing a downtown cleanup to get everything nice and shiny after the long winter holiday. That cleanup will take place at 9 a.m. and run until noon. If you're interested in participating, just so they can get an idea on the number of volunteers and how many muffins and pots of coffee they should bring, the Chamber of Commerce number is 419-734-5503. The city currently has 2 openings, one in our service department and one in our street department, both for heavy equipment operators. The application deadline is March 19th at noon at City Hall. Again, heavy equipment operator for both the street department and the service department. The Tree Commission met earlier today. If you would like to sponsor some trees to plant around the city, contact Mrs. Ostheimer. The deadline to get in sponsorship dollars is April 9th. That is when the city has to have their application out to the Ottawa County Soil and Water Conservation District. Trees are only $20. The Tree Commission narrowed it down to 3 species, a sycamore, red maple, and a tulip poplar. Make your checks payable to the PC Rec Department. Again, by April 9th, if you'd like to sponsor a tree. PC Rec Department check. Arbor Day is also going to be a go with certain COVID protocols in place. It will take place on the 30th of April, which is a Friday, at City Park. More details to come on that as we get closer. Again, April 30th, Friday at City Park. Mrs. Hickman, please extend my best to the chief. Hopefully he has a speedy recovery. I talked to him earlier today. He seemed to be in very good spirits, a little sore, but nonetheless doing well. And finally, reminder, this Saturday night before you go to bed, make sure you spring ahead. It's going to be lighter later in the day. So with that, Madam President, I thank you.
Thank you very much. Auditor's report.
Cole, you're muted.
Unmute.
You're good now. Oh, we still can't hear you.
Hear me now?
Yes.
Okay. Nothing today, man.
Nothing tonight? Okay, thank you. Treasurer's report is bed tax is $6,470.35. And dock tax is $5,100. Law director.
Thank you, Madam President. I submitted 4 ordinances for tonight's meeting. The first 3 we spoke about at the last meeting. If anyone has any questions about those, I can answer those. The last ordinance is an ordinance for the Port Clinton Police Department, and it's for the removal of junk boats and outboard motors in the city. We already had an ordinance similar on the books for vehicles. However, we never had anything for junk boats and outboard motors. So that was requested. So the police department can have a process to go through in order to have those boats removed from properties and in some cases disposed of. I have nothing else, Madam President. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. I see we have a question from Brandon. Is there going to be road work and sidewalk need to be put in? So I guess that's to Mr. Colston. I'm not sure where Brenda's talking
Well,
about.
If
I'd
I
have-
could,
Go ahead.
I believe she's talking about the 10th, 11th, 12th Street area. Tracy and I
For the
have
safe
talked about
routes?
No, it would probably fall under a Safe Routes program. Right now, there are no plans on the books to do that. But it is something that Mr. Colson and I have talked about, but there are no immediate plans to put sidewalks in that area. Again, it would fall under a Safe Routes program.
Okay.
I believe she's a resident of 13th or 14th Street.
Sorry to budge, I'm Brenda, I'm in the Port Clinton, and also I'm on a DD council. My concern, because when I walk on Levitt Street, there's no sidewalks. It's like, I don't want to not walk on it because there's no sidewalks to walk on. And if you walk in different directions, you don't know if you're going to get hit or not.
Yeah.
And then the roads are like really rough, but that was brought up in other issues when the legislators came in.
And ma'am, I received your notification or your question through Senator Therese Gavarone, and that's what prompted the conversation that
Yes.
Mr. Colston and I had. There will be street work done in that area, working down Jefferson Street, but at the moment, there are no immediate plans to put in sidewalks in that neighborhood.
Okay.
Thank you. Thanks for coming.
No
Okay.
problem.
We will move on to supervisors' reports. We'll start with Chief Johnson.
As soon as I learn how to maneuver this,
You're good.
thank you for inviting me, Mrs. Sardi,
Uh,
or Madam President, I should say. You're Mrs. Sardi off the clock.
Yeah.
I don't have anything other than the reason I was invited for. It's my understanding it is the third reading for the first ordinance that we need. 615, by the way. It's the first reading of the third reading of the first ordinance we need to get the fire levy moving. I think all of you know how important that is, that we continue on with that. This year, we're intending on a renewal levy, and hopefully that's going to be able to maintain throughout this 5-year period. So if you have any questions regarding that, feel free to ask.
Does anyone have any questions for Chief Johnson time? Okay, thank you. Chief Johnson, you're more than welcome to stay on, or I know you have training tonight if you need to.
I'll hang on for a little bit, but then I'll go off to my training. So thank you very much for inviting me.
Thank you.
Good
for
seeing
coming.
everybody, even though I'm not touching you or hugging
Yeah.
you or nothing, but it's good to see you.
Good to see you also. Okay, Mr. Colston.
Thank you, Madam President. Just an update on the H2O program. We are up to 40 people who have taken advantage of that. Of the comments as I looked through, most of the questions were on the H2O. They mailed out a lot of forms to people, answered a lot of questions on that. The only people who have really been turned away at all are ones that are not 65 or ones that don't own their house. So the rest of the complaints, I mean, there's obviously people that were not happy with it and what's it for and this and that. And Julie pointed them to the mayor's presentation to look that over. And I would also like to sentiment about Eva Castillo, great person for us, great person for the city. I don't know if any of you knew, but she came back to help out with less than a month ago because we needed a pinch at the city. So God bless her and rest in peace, Eva. Thank you.
Thank you. We'll move on to correspondence. Council, you received via email all items listed under correspondence. Does council wish to take action regarding correspondence this evening?
Madam President,
Mr. Bealow,
I move the council waive its right to object at a hearing for the Ohio Division of Liquor Control for Big Boy Adventures on Perry Street and Madison Street.
thank you. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Thank you, Ms. Phillips. Any further discussion?
Madam President,
Yes, Mr. Bealow?
can anyone share some of the plans timeline for, say, the Perry Street address, which is the old fried heating building, right?
Correct. Mr. Colston?
I can share a little bit. It sounds like the one, the old Slaters will be open approximately the beginning of May. Perry Street is nothing's going to be done with that because there's a gentleman in the building behind it that I think has a game operation back there that still has a lease till the end of October, I believe, Gabe, or Mr. Bealow. So nothing will happen there that I foresee this year at all in that vicinity you're talking about.
Thank you.
All three of these, excuse me, Madam President, all three of these licenses were part of the downtown revitalization district. I believe the chamber is just down to maybe one or two of these licenses remaining.
It'll be good to see new tenants down there, so I welcome. And I urge everyone to vote yes.
Would the clerk please call the roll as to waiving a hearing or objection to the liquor permits?
Hovis,
Yes.
Roseanne Hickman,
Yes.
Margaret Phillips,
Yes,
Jerry Trolley,
Yes.
Lisa Spodian,
Yes.
Beth Gilman,
Yes.
Gabe Bealow.
Yes.
Thank you. Motion carries 7-0. Does the council wish to take any further action as to correspondence this evening?
Madam President,
Mr. Bealow?
I move to approve all correspondence as stated.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Thank you, Ms. Phillips. I have a motion by Mr. Bealow, seconded by Ms. Phillips to approve correspondence as stated. All in favor, say aye.
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 Oppose the same sign. Thank you. Motion carries. We'll move on to readings of ordinances and resolutions. We have a third reading for Resolution 21-1. Would the clerk please read by title and summary only, Resolution 21-1.
Resolution 21-1, a resolution declaring it necessary to renew an existing 1.9 mil tax levy and requesting the Ottawa County Auditor to certify the total current tax valuation of the city and the dollar amount of the revenue that would be generated by that renewal levy pursuant to section 5705.19 of the revised code and declaring an emergency.
Thank you. Does council wish to take any action as to Resolution 21-1?
Madam President,
Mr. Bealow?
I move to retain the emergency clause on Resolution 21-1.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
I second.
Thank you, Mrs. Gilman. Any discussion? Okay. We have a motion to retain the emergency clause as to Resolution 21-1 by Mr. Bealow, seconded by Mrs. Gilman. Would the clerk please call the roll?
Jerry Trolley,
Yes.
Lisa Slobodian,
Yes.
Beth Gilman,
Yes.
Gabe Bealow,
Yes.
Pat Hovis,
Yes.
Roseanne Hickman,
Yes.
Margaret Phillips.
Yes,
Thank you. Motion carries 7-0. The emergency clause is hereby retained. Does council wish to take any further action as to Resolution 21-1?
Madam President,
Mr. Bealow?
move to adopt Resolution 2021-1.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
I second.
Thank you, Mrs. Gilman. Any discussion?
Madam President,
Yes, Mr. Bealow?
The Finance Committee previously took up the substance of the ordinance and recommended approving it upon its third reading, which is tonight. So I urge everyone to vote yes.
Thank you, Mr. Bealow. Okay, I have a motion to adopt resolution 21-1 by Mr. Bealow, seconded by Mrs. Gilman. Would the clerk please call the roll?
Pat Hovis,
Yes.
Beth Gilman,
Yes.
Lisa Sabodian,
Yes.
Roseanne Hickman,
Yes.
Jerry Trolley,
Yes.
Margaret Phillips,
Yes.
Gabe Belo.
Yes.
Thank you. Resolution 21-1 is hereby adopted by a vote of 7-0. We will now move on to second readings. Would the clerk please read by title and summary only, ordinance 4-21?
Ordinance 4-21, an ordinance making appropriations for current expenses and other expenditures of the city of Port Clinton, county of Ottawa, state of Ohio, during fiscal year ending on December 31st, 2021.
Thank you. Does council wish to take any action as to ordinance 4-21 this evening? Seeing none, ordinance 4-21 will be moved to its third reading on March 23rd, 2021 at the regular scheduled council meeting. Would the clerk please read by title and summary only, ordinance 5-21?
Ordinance number 5-21, an ordinance establishing a fee schedule for the service and return of writs and orders by the Port Clinton Police Department in the Ottawa County Municipal Court.
Thank you. Does council wish to take any action this evening as to ordinance 5-21? Okay, seeing none, ordinance 5-21 will be moved to its third reading on March 23rd, 2021 at the regular council meeting. Would the clerk please read by title and summary only, ordinance 6-21?
Ordinance number 6-21, an ordinance establishing a fee schedule for criminal background checks provided to individuals at the Port Clinton Police Department.
Thank you. Does council wish to take any action as to ordinance 6-21? Seeing none, ordinance 6-21 will be moved to its third reading on March 23rd, 2021 at the regularly scheduled council meeting. Move on to first readings. Would the clerk please read ordinance 8-21 by title and summary only?
Ordinance number 8-21, an ordinance amending chapter 727 of the codified ordinances of the city of Port Clinton and declaring an emergency.
Thank you. Does council wish to take any action this evening as to ordinance 8-21? Seeing none, ordinance 8-21 will move to its second reading on March 23rd, 2021 at the regular scheduled council meeting. Will the clerk please read by title and summary only, ordinance 9-21?
Ordinance number 9-21, an ordinance amending section 7.19.0, 719.01, 719.08, 719.09, and 719.10 of the codified ordinance of the city of Port Clinton and declaring an emergency.
Does council wish to take any action this evening as to ordinance 9-21? Seeing none, ordinance 9-21 will be moved to its second reading, March 23rd, 2021 at the regular scheduled council meeting. Would the clerk please read by title and summary only, ordinance 10-21?
Ordinance number 10-21, an ordinance amending section 1145.03 of the codified ordinances of the city of Port Clinton and declaring an emergency.
Thank you. Does council wish to take any action this evening as to ordinance 10-21? Seeing none, ordinance 10-21 will be moved to its second reading on March 23rd, 2021 at the next regular scheduled council meeting. Would the clerk please read by title and summary only, ordinance 11-21?
Ordinance number 11-21, an ordinance amending chapter 521 of the codified ordinances of the city of Port Clinton to add section 521.15 to provide provisions for the removal and disposal of junk vessels and outboard motors in the city of Port Clinton.
Thank you. Does council wish to take any action as to ordinance 11-21 this evening? Seeing none, ordinance 11-21 will move to its second reading on March 23rd, 2021 at the regular scheduled council meeting. Okay, I'll move on to business from the floor. Mr. Trolley?
I have nothing tonight, Madam President.
Mrs. Oh, we didn't do committee reports. Well, when I call on you, if you want to do your committee reports, you can do them then too. Mrs. Hickman, business from the floor and your committee report if you have anything.
Nothing tonight, Madam President, for either of those.
Okay, thank you. Ms. Phillips?
Thank you, Madam President. Yes, we will take a look at ordinance 1121 prior to the next meeting. It was nice to read that the work that Mr. Hatfield has done regarding all that paperwork that he does for the auditor's area, that it was specified in one of the papers that came through to us that it was correct, and it was nice to know that we're not in trouble. Thank you, Mr. Hatfield. That's all. Thank you, Madam President.
Thank you. Ms. Hovis?
Nothing tonight, Madam President.
Thank you. Ms. Slobosian?
Nothing tonight, Madam President. Thank you.
Thank you. Mrs. Gilman, anything from the floor and committee report?
Nothing on either end, Madam President. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Bealow?
Thank you, Madam President. Just a few things. One, it's good to see Jolly Roger start some construction down at the old Burger King parking lot. It'd be nice to see waterfront property hopefully be maximized for everybody to enjoy. And so I wish the business the best of luck at that new location. Ordinances 8, 9, and 10 are all intended to do a couple things, which we can talk about in future readings, and we'll pick those up at future committee meetings as well. Before I anticipate council will adopt them. One, it'll make the rules of the road easier and fair and safer for everybody when it comes to street vending and food carts, food trucks, where we would be providing some preference to hometown businesses that have brick and mortar shops downtown. Those same brick and mortar shops downtown would need to provide, just like the downtown restaurants that want to have an outdoor seating arrangement and service, to be able to provide some insurance coverage and go through some of the other steps that outdoor restaurants do. So there's some parity between the downtown restaurants, downtown retailers, for example. And then lastly is the parking requirements, off-street parking requirements for downtown, which we think if the ordinance is approved with a few small changes, that it would really maximize our opportunity to promote investment downtown, redevelop some of the vacant properties, things that might have been an old retail spot into downtown living or other types of establishments, and eliminating the burden of some of the off-street parking requirements. So happy to talk more about those, and we'll pick them up in committee meetings in the future. So I want to thank the law director for turning those around quickly, and we look forward to picking them up in the committee. Thank you, Madam President.
Thank you, Mr. Bealow. With no further business, I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
Madam President, I move this August body adjourn.
I will enter a second.
I second.
Thank you, Ms. Hovis. All in favor, say aye.
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 Oppose the same sign. We're here adjourned. Thank you, everyone.
Thank
See
you.
you in a couple weeks.
Good night.
Bye.
Aye.